Okay. Now, the name of the video is Skyscraper. And Demi Lovato sung it, if I've pronounced her name correctly. I'm feeling you going down memory lane. Memory lane connected to a person, an event, a time, and a place. I feel, again, your energy is very quiet. You're processing it and you're looking at something from a different angle. It's actually humbled you, but you're actually really surprised by the feelings, the emotions, and the triggers that are coming up. And you're thinking, wow, why didn't I see that before? I didn't feel that back then. Why do I feel this now? It feels very confused energy. You don't actually know what to make of it. And you're really wondering about, you know, why you're feeling the way you're feeling. I wouldn't say it's confusing you. It's surprising you that you're feeling the way you're feeling. And you're thinking, gosh, well, look where I am now. So how am I going to do X, Y, and Z when I'm here and that's there? It just feels like you're sort of saying to yourself, well, how am I going to do that? Why am I thinking that? I do feel there's a bit of a heavy emotion. You are up in your head. It's almost like you're riding a wave. It's like your heart's slowing down. You feel like an aspect of something is dead. Now, this might be inside you feel that way when you're going through this transition, or it may be that you're, how would I put it? Like your heart's slowing. You're very relaxed, but it's not relaxed. It's actually nostalgic. I'm going to pull some clarities on that energy. What's this energy about? You know, you're going back to a time when things were playful, and this might be with a person. This could be a sibling, this could be a love interest, or a person you were with, or the person you are with. But it feels you're going down memory lane. Your energy also, when it comes to work, isn't that focused at the moment. It's focused more up in your head than work. I actually find you, when you're at work, you may become a bit irritated. Now, how do I put it? You're still going to get work done, but I feel that there's going to be some energies around you where they might tick you off. And it's because you're almost like offended at the fact that someone may interrupt you while you're in that mindset. And it's not so much they should know you're in that mindset. It almost feels like you don't want anyone to know you're in that mindset. Now, I feel a forceful energy around you. For some of you, this is connected to a work colleague or a partner. And it feels as though they're none the wiser. They're none the wiser that you're actually up in your head. They vibrationally might sense something's up, but they don't know why you're feeling the way you're feeling. It's like you're a different person and you're distant. You are up and down like a yo-yo. Now, in your work, you know, you're giving your power away. So it may be that energetically you just don't feel directly connected to your workplace at the moment, or because you're up in your head, you're physically feeling you're not applying your energy correctly. You're being very strong about what you're wanting to do as you move forward, but you're definitely processing. You're trying to use your work to get your mind off scenarios. So you're physically like really trying to get yourself tucked in. So initially you're coming into the month and you're very much up in your head. But then as you realize you've got to take your power back and you're trying to be strong and put a brave face on, it's like you're trying to hide the fact because you're realizing people are clocking onto an energy. And then maybe somebody actually approaches you and discusses it with you. I do feel one person in particular, you're going to verbalize how you're physically feeling. And this is going to be on the down low. It's going to help you actually purge an aspect of it. But after it's verbalized, I feel you're actually feeling quite anxious. Like it was safer when it was in than out. Now, I do feel you're going to try and use work or something that you're physically focusing on to get your mind off that event, like nothing's ever happened. Now, again, if you're not working, this could be just keeping busy at home or something to that degree. It just feels like you're trying to control the energy. Now, connected to this area, for those of you who this does apply to, for those of you who are in a situation where you're thinking, oh, I don't know what to do in relationship, you know, you're starting to have some very vivid dreams. Now, it might be you're daydreaming. It may be that the way you're looking at things is, you know, for some of you, it might be that your relationship's dreamy, but this isn't really the energy I'm receiving right away. And that's not to say that your relationship isn't solid. It just feels as though a nostalgic energy is coming through of an aspect of processing. So it may be that you're dreaming. It may be that you're questioning the dream and the road, and it is going to make you feel slightly emotional. Now, there is healing in this, and you do have guides around you that are protecting you, connected to it. So if you feel you're seeing synchronicities and signs, you need to pay attention to them because they're confirming, yes, you're on the right path. Yes, your vibration's correct. Yes, your gut instinct is correct. Don't feel guilty for feeling this way. It's almost like you're going to see synchronicities. They're almost going to be dangling it in front of you. Like, hello, haven't you been seeing the signs? Something is triggering you because you're seeing a difference in a person that is not of, you know, they're not acting maturely in some shape or form. It might be the way they talk is quite low and childlike. It's a little kind of aspect of this person that's triggering you. And it's weird because, like, to a whole, they're fantastic in your eyes. But there's just this one little aspect, and it's triggering you, nobody else. It's your personal that, you know, you don't like about it. And it is quite frustrating you. It's almost putting you off, but you're almost saying to yourself, why are you being so silly? Why are you being so petty? It feels like a confusing energy. Now, you may be very up in your head about it so much so that you're not wanting to be playful, but you're also not trying to show that you're not feeling that way either. So you're not lighthearted and you're not upbeat. You just physically are. It's like a flat line. Something's out. You're questioning if you're going down the right path at a romantic nature. Again, this is February energy. This may be simply because you are up in your head and you're going down memory lane. Some of you, again, there could be an anniversary, a wedding anniversary, and suddenly everything comes full circle and you're just saying, you know, what am I doing here? Do I fit this place? You're also questioning whether it's even safe for you to invest any further. But you're going to be expressing this, and it could be just by your agitation or, you know, your attitude towards the situation, or physically verbalizing it. Now, in your general life, you don't feel you can completely be yourself in some shape or form. And it's making you feel like you're going down a road and through a tunnel where you're getting further and further away from yourself. You know, when you look at the card this way, it's almost like there's possibility and you're walking towards a goal. When it's like this, it's almost like you're going to a deep cave and it's kind of murky. You don't know what you're walking into. There's a vibration of this. So you're thinking, if I actually don't fit this shape, then why am I walking into it? Why am I trying to be somebody that I'm physically not? And that's really what it's feeling like the situation is making you. Now, you're wanting clarity, but you're almost feeling very at risk because you don't want to get left out in the cold. And again, that can be a vibration from a previous scenario in life. And we can always do the work connected to this, because when a trigger comes up, we need to say to ourselves, oh, this person or that person has actually, you know, come through and they're triggering me. And this could be a partnership. It could be a work colleague. It could be anybody in your life. Triggers come from every aspect of life. And then stop and almost take the trigger that the person has sent you away and then physically look at where it came from initially. It might have been many moons ago. It could have been a school teacher. You need to look back as to how it's made you feel and where it directly came from. How many times this vibration's come up, and think on that and try and work back over how many times one situation has come about. Now, I spoke to a lovely client of mine who is a regular, so if she's watching, hello, and I won't mention names. And we were talking about triggers and how to directly understand where they come from. And I do know for me personally, I've had some triggers, and look, it can be a smell that is a trigger. And I do know that I had several triggers in my life that were connected to bleach, and it was like hospital based. And I really had to unlearn that and connect the dots connected to that sense in a different shape or form to remove that trigger. It's almost like you got to rewrite that trigger in a positive sense. Now, you do have a road, but you're forgetting your own road. You need to look at your whole story in your life and say to yourself, how do you vibrationally feel? Could you, the best way I can physically suggest you do that is picture any given situation you're currently dealing with and see whether you can see yourself doing that for 5 years in a sense of a commitment. If so, great. If not, then you have your answer. Maybe even add to that, place 10 years onto that situation. I know definitely, again, I had a trigger, and this is a means I physically use for myself when I'm dealing with adversity or a challenge or a question. Can you see yourself physically committing to the one given situation that you're blocked in for 5 to 10 years? If you think you can't, you have your answer. Then you need to work over why you're blocking yourself in it. What other trigger is there blocking you, making you feel unsafe? Because it's a facade if you can't do it for 5 years. So therefore, why are you delaying what's going to transpire regardless? Now, again, this could be in any, it will be a direct message for you. You will know directly what it's connected to. If this is the relationship and you're going, oh, left, right, it might be you have 2 options. It may be that you're in a situation, it will be only if this directly connects with you. Otherwise, you'll need to look at your rising sign, sun or moon. Okay. What do we have for couples? I do feel some of you, singles and couples, you're actually having quiet time away from family. I do feel family around you, but it's almost like you're in a bubble. You're doing your thing. Okay. Couples. Need a bigger table. I really did think I would have all of these done ahead of time, but it just hasn't happened. Okay, Okay, you have a story that you're wanting to walk down into. I'll cross-reference between your partner and yourself and the energy in between you. So you're having this epiphany that you have an idea in mind as to what life should be. Your partner loves being around people. They love their friendships. They love their family. So we'll see how the story goes. Some aspect you're not wanting to offer, okay? So some things you're not willing to give up of yourself. They're following their dreams, you know, and to them, you are their dream. They feel this is really good. But you feel in some shape or form, either you're being tricked or you're tricking yourself. So again, it might be that you're trying to hide the fact that you just can't put your finger on it. Something just doesn't feel right. But they're also clocking onto an energy where you feel different. Look, it might be that you've had a really bad week, a really bad month, you know, a few bad years, or you've got a trigger coming up and they're sensing something's off. Now, this might be an emotion directly connected to a past tense situation. It doesn't have to be connected to your partner, but for some of you, it is connected to your partner. Now, things are on the 3D looking like they're okay. And you're not sweating the small stuff, but internally, both of you are looking at something differently. It may be your mindsets, your values, your belief systems, the road of how you want to go. And again, this could just be an energy for February. Okay, you're really communicating with some close people. Now, some of you are communicating directly to friends, not family. And you're disengaging from a situation. And you're feeling as though whatever you're tricking yourself from, if you have your eye on the person you're with, you know you're tricking yourself and the triggers are all in your head. For others of you, it feels as though there may be a situation where, you know, you don't feel that this feels normal and you do have your eye on a road and, you know, you've put the pause button, but I do feel guides around you are saying it's time. Okay. Your partner, although they're very friendly and outgoing and they love going out with people, they're very committed to you. They also want to build some dreams with you and they want that very soon. So if they're wanting something on the 3D, they're really pushing. I do feel their energy to be very pushy when they've made their mind up connected to something. And it's like they're waiting for you to catch up. You need to choose whether you feel vibrationally ready to take that to the next level. It may be having children. It might be getting engaged. It may be moving in together. It feels some aspect they're really pushing and they're asking you to get on board. Except I think it's because they're vibrationally feeling your frequencies out. So they're physically jumping the gun and trying to push it uphill. Although they know where this is all coming from, or they're starting to connect the dots, you know, they're trusting that everything's going to move along. They're having to be very patient. But I do feel some of them may become agitated. Okay. They may stop being as playful connected to you and, you know, really pull themselves back. Now, for some of you, this is a fairly new relationship. And when I say fairly new, 1 year, you know, you're not 10 or 20 years, some of you. For those of you who this message applies, They are keeping an open mind, but I do feel their energy to start getting a little bit pushy. For those of you who's longer, I feel as though you're looking back. Okay, their family is much different to yours and it's very close. So their energy does go towards their family. They do feel they know you quite well and they are very sure that they deserve love. So this could be that they're getting to a point where they're thinking, why aren't you acting in a certain way? Why haven't you jumped on the offer that I've provided you? Or the road or the plan that they're wanting to walk down with you. They're thinking it's an opportunity of a lifetime. They are speaking to their family about it. And when I say family, this could be siblings. This could be soul families. There's a group of people I feel they're talking to. This might even be your family. But I don't think you're aware of it. They are doing this on the down low. Okay, I'll pull 3 cards. Of whatever couples are needing to know. And then I'll go into the singles. I'm surprised I'm still awake. I must be crazy. Okay. This whole situation feels like a real mystery. You really do not know why this keeps coming up in a sense of an emotion, a trigger. But you do want to get to that beautiful place where you can actually just live in peace without having these things in your head. You need to track back in your life story and realize why it's come about. Maybe growth was needed prior to following your dream. Maybe growth was needed connected to an individual or a past tense situation, and now you're seeing it in a very different light. You know, there hasn't been healing connected to this, and maybe that's why this trigger's coming up where you're thinking about this energy. Look, this could be a past tense person, or it could be a trigger connected to you that is preventing you from being very open within your current relationship. Some of you, this is directly connected to twin flame and you may be somewhere else. Some of you, this is directly a twin flame and you know that you're thinking of. Now, you will know how this relates. You're inside your own life. If you're currently in a relationship and you are thinking of the person is your twin, they're your twin slash soulmate. I'll leave it for your energy of what you're feeling the situation is. But your destiny, you know, it's like you walked away from it, but it's going to start calling you. So whatever is destined is going to start happening. It's asking you not to forget. Don't forget where you've come from, how far you've gone. I do feel you're looking back to a nostalgic energy of someone that you knew very well, and it felt safe. Again, I don't think it's rose-colored glasses. I really do not. I feel as though you're having just an epiphany and you're looking at something differently through time. When you have this awakening connected to it, couples, I feel as though both with the road that you know you should be traveling, you know, it's going to be illuminated and you will walk down that path. But you may not be free right away. This may be internally or externally. Things very much are going to be up in the air, so it may be that you realise it, acknowledge it, but don't jump the gun right away. Things will be up in the air, but you can heal this situation and people around you, and your passion in your life will return. Okay, let's see. What's going on for singles? Okay. Okay, you're going to be going in a certain direction. You're really, really ready emotionally and physically to move in a new direction. Now, you may have come out of a situation and realized something and started to move very heavily towards this situation. Some of you, this might be a Cancer individual. It is going to happen very quickly because there will be a change of plans. I feel as though for some of you there might be a phone call, and it's almost like that. You're sort of like on your horse and you're going. Now, this person in the past may have done wrong by you, and there may have been conflict. There also might have been lying around you. A lot of deceit. But I do feel it was generational. It almost feels like it was age related or maturity related, not necessarily completely in intent to betray. It felt an aspect of life had to be lived. So it does feel as though there was a lot of deception, but also a lot of unfair energy, imbalance, discord. And I do feel that the trigger was directly from their friends. I feel as though you're really going to get down to business. I feel you're going to have a very strong conversation, either with yourself or the individual. But you don't know where you're going from here, but you do know that the communication needs to come about. I do feel it might be a little bit of verbal diarrhea, so to speak. But you are definitely focused very heavily on yourself and being very strong. I almost feel as though you have an armor on, like you're really protecting yourself, but not that you feel they can hurt you, because you can't break what's broken. It almost feels like you're taking an assertive energy, stating what you're physically wanting and how you're going to address the area. So it's almost like you are considering it, but it's going to be on your terms. So it feels more an interview. You go. Yeah, an abrupt interview. I do feel this is twin energy because the only card sitting up is soulmate. It's someone you do have a deep connection with. That's the only reason you're considering this, because your energy is so... I do feel different situations may have harmed the heart chakra, but definitely it feels as though this one person is like... There you go, song came through. The Only Exception by Paramore. You're the only exception. But you're not letting on to them because you're thinking, no. Are you going to make the cut on this occasion? I do feel, yes. It feels as though you're looking at them and you're going, look, you have hurt me. I don't even think you're going to tell them they hurt you, because I don't even think you're going to give your power away. It feels like you're going to let them rule, you know, like, please, please, please. But I don't feel begging and groveling. It just feels you either sense this energy is coming towards you, this person, or they physically have made communication with you. But you're going to let them wait. And I don't mean that, I do mean that in a real, frank way. I don't know how your communication's going to be. It's almost you share a telepathic communication, although they are not let in on what you're actually doing, which is quite strategic, but it's not intended to harm. It's, how do I put it? It's like, why are you rushing me for? If you know I'm the one for you, and deep down you actually do know this person is the one for you, then you're almost looking at them thinking, don't be tripping and telling me that it's on your time frame. You wasted my time before, so it's going to be, I need to see that this it's all quarantined area is safe, and then we may proceed. So that's okay. And look, for twins, I am needing to do the video. I'll just give you a little insight into it for this month. I'm very much feeling some of you will be working more at a level of assessing. So I do feel twins are triggering each other, but I also do feel you're not going to jump the gun. Everything has to be balanced. Okay. So, any questions? You're out with the dog. It's okay. It will be saved and you can watch it again. I'm going to come back to do the Aries in a minute because I did get an SMS on my phone that come up. It's probably my neighbour. Hi. Any questions? You're a Gemini. I've done the Gemini. I just did totally Leo. Oh, you think I was drunk? No. It's been a long week. Any questions, guys? Thanks, Gypsy. Someone will have to write another question so I can read the end of your question. It kind of flashes up and fades into the distance. Something to do with choosing between a soulmate and a twin flame. Okay. Okay, so is it possible that I'm choosing between my twin and a soulmate and I'm not supposed to be with my twin? How do I put this? Lots of things have been written connected to twins. You to the core will know inside yourself. Now, a lot at the moment are getting triggered. You're either on the 3D seeing that things aren't flowing and things aren't balanced. And a lot of twins are experiencing that. So it's almost like time out, time out. Now, that's to get regrounded and go back to the 5D to gain your frequency. When that's happened, you energetically give the twin their time to do their work. Now, even at a mindset of you physically thinking you're not at that frequency, you need to then look at yourself, because what you see them not doing 9 times out of 10 is an area you have a block with. So if you had a karmic and they've got a karmic, what you're going to find is you're doing the same thing. By you energetically owning your position of what you want, then they in turn own it. My twin really fucked up and he seems to have permanently. I'll need another question so I can read the rest. Permanently entangled himself with his karmic, and I just met someone else and it was profound. There is a stage, I do believe, in between that cycle where the runner does end up becoming entrapped. Now, energetically, this is necessary, which I will, again, I've got to do the twin video. Energetically, they get stuck because they were runners. So they're then forced to stay in a space where they have to deal. They have to actually face their demons. They have to adhere to responsibility. So as much as you're energetically thinking that it's toxic and it's terrible and why aren't they with me, what you're not realizing is it's shaping them into who they actually are to the core, which is grounded, masculine, responsible, and also being in a toxic situation, in your opinion, does actually help them grow. Now, what's coming to you is a blessing. It's something that is providing you with a break, but also to realize that you need to believe in the fact that you can have a positive connection with your twin. Now, because you are questioning that aspect, what then happens is the universe sends you something that your twin can be, but it will fade at some point to a degree where it either will pull triggers of what your twin did to you within that connection. So you got two options. Vibrationally, I do feel going down that road, you're being called to. So, you know, follow your gut connected to it. Otherwise, I can work with you and we can book a reading. Someone else will have to pop a very brief question up so I can read the other ones, because it was like, that's okay, love. Most welcome, Wendy. Any other questions? Pretty sure I'm doing Aries next. I've got Aries and Sagittarius, and that's just off the bat of memory. I feel energetically a lot of twins will be completely connected in this lifetime. Especially the heavier your roads. I do feel in that on that occasion you're actually older souls, and you're meant to reach union for the greater good. So the most adversity you have within your connection, look, I mean, I did some channeling the other day and also some reading, and did find that you'll find the closer to union you get, the 3D provides some obstacles, and that's there, and that's on both sides. It's energetically there to make you guys fight for each other. So just as you've done all this purging on your own, then you come into contact, you do more purging then, and then just as you're reaching complete union, the 3D starts challenging you to kind of pull you guys apart, and you've got to fight for each other. Yeah, but no, it won't be fighting for him. It will be fighting for one, as in the soul contract. Both of you will be working together as a team. Any other questions for the actual sign that we did? No other questions? Anyone? Tongue-tied. Anyone want to come out for a smoke? Bad. I have to walk around or I'll fall asleep. And I've got fuzz hair happening too. No makeup. Jeez. Well, maybe in the next video. Well, I never pertain to be an angel. I'm a fallen angel. Can karma create in this lifetime a payback? No, I do feel anything you're set as a task or a challenge. Look, I'm pretty sure there's a video on YouTube connected to my first memory. My first memory was from before birth, and for a very long time, energetically, hi Emma, for a very long time, I was feeling as though I didn't know what the whole thing was in this kind of memory I had. Now, I do recall actually choosing my path. So my first memory was before birth. Now, for a long time, I didn't know what that was all about. Further down the track, as my road was very difficult in my life, but I make no complaints out of it. Thank you, Emma. I have found that it's directly connected to twin, but also so much more. You know, as twins, think of yourself as fallen angels, you know, that, or somewhere to that degree. You're an old soul. You've come back to finalize the task. Now, my memory was I was very angry. Now, anger is kind of an unusual word because I was in a hurry. I was definitely looking at this book, and it was a very large book. It was like probably that big either side, and I had an energy next to me, and that's the only way I can relate it because it didn't feel 3D human. Physically went to the very back of this book and pointed upon the task I was going to have, and telepathically was asked, are you sure? And I directly recall saying I have to in order to make it back. So I know that something we learn is picked each time. Now, what I was picking, I knew that I picked my body, my family. My soul family I had in the previous lifetime, I said goodbye to. What we physically have here, in my opinion, of my vision of what I had and memory, is that the time frame here now that we physically live within our life is like that by the time we go back. So time frame there is fluid. And I felt as though I was saying to them, I'll see you in 5 minutes. And that's pretty much how I felt. Yet energetically, what we have right here, I even had a conversation with my daughter, and she said, Mum, you're so intelligent, but some of the things you say are so weird. And I said, well, do I look like the lying type? And she said, no, I know you don't. So lots of things I've experienced are really out of the ordinary, but very much quite taboo, you know, as I was a child. So I kept it very hidden. And there's lots more I can discuss, but I will leave that as the channel grows and I don't freak people out. So I'll leave it on that note, and I will be back for the Aries video. I'm having a smoke.